the immediate needs that people have, and then try to leverage that kind of intervention into additional things. So my quick thinking and kind of the low-hanging fruit in the ways we sort of get that first step, looking to where the second step is coming back to that notion of what kind of trade is facilitated by relationships. Right? We also know that there's a strained relationships. I'm not living in a magical world that thinks that in every neighborhood everybody gets together. Right? So I'm thinking that things that actually build relationships, right, and notions of trust and safety and community, build those relationships. So at the same time I'm having these social interventions that are expanding the scope of which meaningful relationships exist, I'm also expanding the scope of where I could imagine relationship-based economies being formed. And we always got to be thinking, we don't deserve that. So when I say this, I want to make very clear, I'm not saying this is a good thing, right? In fact, I think it's a residual of 500 years of racism and discrimination, right? And I'm not saying this is a way that people should live, but I'm saying this is where we're at, and we can actually turn it into something that we can control first, right? We can make it a positive thing, something within our hands, and then we have a vision, right? And we never lose sight of what that vision is, because as we're helping ourselves today, we know why. And we have a vision of what we deserve. Right? As we're building self-determination, we're building self-empowerment, we're building that whole philosophy that historically is also embedded in these programs. At the same time, we're actually helping each other. But that's kind of, I'm just sort of answering intuitively, but I'm also very serious to say this is a collective problem. Right? And this is the exact kind of thing where smart people from across these spectrums, those that want to call themselves professionals and those that have real knowledge, right, on lived experience, it has to be collaborative. Right? I also think that's an exciting part of trying to build new processes, is we actually need everybody's help.
Okay. We probably have time for one more question. I know I saw another hand up somewhere. Yes.
Where can we get a copy?
Could you stand up?
Where can we get a copy of your presentation?
Yeah, I will certainly, the organizers have it, and anybody just wants to email me. And the great thing about the Google silly way they weight things is you're part of an academic institution, you go to the top. Right? So, right or wrong, right? The good thing is just Google Peter Hammer, you'll get my email address, and I promise to reply to anybody who emails me a copy of the presentation.
And we're also going to attach it to our new website that you're going to learn about today. All right.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very stimulating and enlightening presentation. So now we're going to, before we have your attention, before we move into the afternoon, okay, so I'll just, Orlando, you gonna take it?
Yeah, I guess I'm taking it. Can we give Dr. Hammer another round of applause? Let me find out he is a family. Let me find out. Listen, we're going to get a little active. First, we want Jay Morgan and her team to come up and take us through a real-time survey. Now, we understand that we are having some technical difficulties with Wi-Fi, but I am told that there is a sheet with new Wi-Fi credentials in a pack. Lauren, you're waving me down. Oh, it's not working. It's not working. All right. So we still don't have. So let's do this. Let's see how many people we can get plugged in to the Wi-Fi. There's new Wi-Fi credentials on the table. Some of you may have known, some of you may not have known. Yes, Al? The phone doesn't. Maggie got us down here trapped, y'all. It was a plan. Okay, so if we can't get on, Jane, I'm not sure how we want to facilitate this.
Which means, how many of you, because on my phone I can't get a phone signal or Wi-Fi, but how many of you can get a phone signal? Okay, so a number of you can. So for those of you that can get a signal on your phone without the Wi-Fi, there are cards on the table, like kind of little paper, business-sized cards that have the address to
to the URL for the survey.
Right.
Yeah.
So it looks like this has the URL for the survey. You can go to that, you can click the survey and complete it. What we may have to do is send the link out after today because it looks like a good number of them aren't able to access
Maggie, can you come to a microphone?
So, I don't know, how many of you were here last year, at last year's summit? Okay, maybe half the room. So you remember the survey we took. I'm gonna get down on my knees and beg that when we send you the link via email, that you will complete this survey. It's gonna accomplish a couple things. First of all, we really are being asked to measure whether this whole notion of trust and collaboration is changing. We're not playing with that. We've been using the same survey since 2016, and the core partners and advisory council are looking at how things are changing. So I'm begging you, first of all, make sure you've given us your email address. Second of all, when you get that email, can you please mark down the link that is on a little card. There's 3 or 4 little cards on every table. If you just take a picture or write this link down, and we'll also send it to you via email. If you could please complete that survey. The second thing the survey is going to do is to take our temperature as a baseline survey on how community development / neighborhoods in the city of Detroit are working together. That's why we spent so much time on this today, because behind trust or lack of trust, and when we think of the challenges for community development, the number 2 issue is how is the city engaged? And that's why we had this discussion. So the survey is going to go through the alignment factors that you saw up on the screen, and it's going to take your temperature about those city and community development alignment factors. And we're going to share the results. So the results will be posted on the website. Orlando, sorry I stole your thunder, but
No, it's fine. I needed you to answer that.
yeah. So we want to keep coming back and measuring how we're doing on these 2 things, including the city community development alignment. Thank you so much.
So I think that we probably won't do the report out. Our plan was to share in real time the results of the survey, but since so many of you can't complete it, we're not going to do that. Now, we will be sending it out. So yes, just to echo what Maggie just said, please complete the survey. It really only takes a few minutes. It's multiple choice, so you don't have to write 6 essays. It shouldn't take very long at all. Okay? And it is part of the engagement process, so we want to hear from everyone. Okay?
I'm going to bring up my beautiful co-MC, Miss Phyllis Edwards, y'all. Look at her. You better strut.
I'm loving it. I'm like McDonald's, loving it. Now, everybody all right? Yes. We're going to be descending soon. Not at this moment. We're still flying at altitudes. And until the pilot tells you that you can get out of your seat, please remain seated. I like that, right? Now for the next 30 minutes, we need you to take more action. See that poster in the back of the room? Right back there?
Yes.
We want each of you to sign your name on that poster. And then if you look at your tables, you'll see some petitions along with 4 statements that we discussed this morning. They contain some suggested changes. If everybody can find those on your table.
Actually, Phyllis, we didn't agree that there were major changes on the statement.
Okay, so there are changes on the statements, right? No changes. Okay. So if you can find those at your table, keep your eye on the poster in the back. And so what we're asking that if you're willing, maybe not, you can't sign for your organization, but if you can sign for your organization, that's fabulous. If you can't and you agree with what's going on and can sign as an individual, we'll accept that too. That's even more important. Sign the poster in the back and the statements at your table. It's so important that we do this work together and we sign our names on as being committed to the process. I don't remember when so many, like I said earlier, I don't remember when so many community development stakeholders have come together this way and reinforced the importance of our work. So what will happen with these petitions after you sign them? As I said, they've been very important, and if you've been involved in community development and plan to stay involved, This is a powerful way to show your commitment, both on the poster and on the petition. How many people plan to stay involved? All right, like I say, come too far to turn back now, right? But what will happen with these petitions? The first thing is that our core partners, M&A, CDAD, and LTU, will bring them to their advisory council and building the engine next year, so that these statements can provide direction and guidance as the advisory council establishes the oversight function for our community development system. They will be making important decisions for the whole system, and these petitions will define the direction of that system. Second, we want these statements and our process to be transparent. So they will be made available and accessible to our own website so that the whole world, and especially the people who are not in this room, our other Detroit neighbors, partners, colleagues, can see what we have committed ourselves to. So, you know, it's about walking the talk. If you're going to walk this talk, sign the paper. If you're just here to play, well, we're going to convince you to walk the talk. They will also be used in displays and other visuals to make these messages get out to everyone about our commitment to strong community development and work in not just some of our neighborhoods, but in all of our neighborhoods. And just as, right, all of our neighborhoods. And just as important, we know that some of what we call for today won't happen automatically. A lot of work is still required, and bring policies and principles of engagement, equity in the profession, equitable development practice into our neighborhoods. It's going to take some work. It's not just going to happen because we went to sleep and dreamed about it and we woke up the next morning and we were in our perfect neighborhood. I wish the world did work that way, but it doesn't. And so your collective action by signing onto the poster, by signing onto the petition, allows us to come together for the first time in Detroit history with all the entities working together, especially the voices that were raised today, our residents, to say we're all in this together, we got it, we're getting it. We didn't get it all the first time, but we're going to continue to work at it until we all get it right and our neighborhoods are what they should be, with all the resources and all of the benefits that communities so deserve. Right? So, I'm going to give you a few minutes. Please sign on. I got a hand in the back. Yes. Hi, how are you? Girl.
We did that temperature check in the beginning, and addressing green, yellow. But if it's 80% yellow, you know, some of these, you're still encouraging us to sign on as is. If there's still some work that needs to be done to refine maybe some certain things.
If it was left up to me, I would say we still, understanding in this room that we still have a lot of work to do, that we're not there yet, but we're committed to the process. And Maggie, if it's something different?
No, what we want, we're seriously interested. If you're 8% against this stuff, I would say don't sign. If you're okay with it, but you've got concerns, this is why we need you to write down your concerns.
So that's why I'm concerned that if this is going out publicly and there's still concerns about some stuff, I think there just needs to be a better timeline about when things should be ready to be published. And there seem to be a lot of yellow cards that popped up for some of the areas.
So we can give an idea of what it doesn't have to be right away.
We read the room as being mostly okay. If we read it wrong, then we should talk about it.
Well, I think it was mostly okay down to defining neighborhoods, and defining neighborhoods is where we saw the most yellow cards. And so now in the meantime, we hope that we're capturing from your comments and from your notes on the card what those concerns are, because we need to know what they are in order for them to be addressed. So if you are feeling at this point that you are more like 80% yellow, then I would say not to sign. But they'll make sure your comment is written down, whatever the issue is, so we're aware of that. If it's not like 80% and you're kind of in the middle and you're comfortable with you have confidence in the integrity of the process, that we're not just going to collect your issues and, you know, throw them in the trash on the way out of the building today, that they will be addressed, because that's important to this process, because you'll have another opportunity to come back and provide feedback. So if you're comfortable with the integrity of the process, although you may have some questions or issues, then I would say to err on the side of signing. Okay?
Okay, so let's take a few minutes, sign on, sign up, commit. And please go sign the poster in the back. And let me just say, I see people that might be leaving. If you're leaving, please take the time to fill out the evaluation form. It's on your table. It's important that we get that feedback. So if you're not staying for the whole session, please fill out the evaluation form on your table. We need that information. Thank you.
I think would really benefit them to better understand. So their community is extremely good. They understand the challenges that they're knowledge and information is I like that.
Thank you. everybody here go to the floor. Let's go. Some of those.
What do you tell me what you're going to say? I speak Spanish. Okay. So put the form in here and remind you. He told me to catch up with you. And then we can start getting everything up. See, the problem is that they don't address.